has the verdict every Monday. The Bet365 Mega Boost, Victorian race previews, and a whole heap of trainers and jockeys.
He's breathing fire at the moment, so we're very excited at the stable and can't wait to get there.
Live every weekday morning from 6, or catch up daily at rsn.net.au. Quality yearlings coupled with the country's best incentives make the Magic Millions Gold Coast March Yearling Sale a must attend, now on March 24 and 25. All yearlings are eligible for nomination to the lucrative $20 million plus Magic Millions Race Series. Sale graduates swept 3 feature races at January's Magic Millions Race Day, led by Hidden Wealth and Encoder. This year's catalogue offers 380 lots with progeny by 73 individual sires. View the catalogue at magicmillions.com.au.
Love the thrill of a big collect? With Unibet's new Same Race Multi-Insurance, get a bonus back if your 3 or 4 leg Same Race Multi loses by 1 leg. Available on all races at Caulfield and Rose Hill this Saturday. Plus, get a bonus bet back if your horse runs 2nd or 3rd in races 1 to 3 at Caulfield, Rose Hill and Ascot. Bet now on the Unibet app or at unibet.com.au. Unibet, your place to bet on racing. Eligible existing Unibet customers only. Limits, terms and conditions apply. You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
On RSN Racing and Sport, it's time for the Grey Areas with Jason Adams and George Ferrugia.
The kid was a human dynamo.
Are you sure you're talking about George?
George of the jungle, friend to you and me.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Grey Areas on this Friday. It's midday, and if you listen to a bloke in the tram around Flemington last week, my name's James Vandermart, but it's not. It's Jason Adams. I'm joined by Georgie Ferrugia on what's been a big 24 hours in sport, George. Safe to say.
Unbelievable. And I know you've invested a lot of time and energy into MAFS this year in regards to reality TV, but there's nothing quite like sport as the best reality TV. That game last night was just unbelievable, wasn't it? It was incredible.
I love theatre in sport. I love theatre in racing. John Henry, good afternoon to you as well.
G'day, boys.
Did you catch much of the footy last night?
I watched it all.
Oh, hang on, George. Break the news.
The
Tell
only man in Australia to tip Richmond yesterday. We are sitting next to royalty here. John Henry gave me a whole rundown on why he tipped Richmond as well, which is incredible. $1.04 Carlton were. And then they were up by 41 points. They would have been $1.01. It would have been like Hector Fawley racing off box 1 at the Meadows against a dog that just won a maiden in slow time at Tamora, who's a wide tracker. I mean, that was it just blew my mind. And he has tipped Richmond. So this man, he's a freak.
So what was you thinking, Johnny? I mean,
I just said to Andrew, I said it to Hoss. We were both at our desks yesterday, and I said to Andrew, I think Richmond could upset the apple cart here. And Hoss gave me a bit of a...
You're an imbecile,
Yeah,
mate.
you're an imbecile.
You've signed his resignation.
Anyway.
Incredible victory. Did you watch it all, Jace? Yeah?
Yeah, I did. I didn't see a lot of it in depth, but certainly the last quarter I watched.
Yeah.
Every second of that was...
I don't know the kid's name, but that somersault at the end, perfect.
Back somersault.
Nadia Comaneci, if you don't mind. Fantastic.
In front of the faithful as well.
Yeah.
Would have gone down well.
Good on him. Great to see.
Echoes of Jeff Garlett in that final, going back probably 10 years.
I've had some Richmond fans, mates, that are they said to me they can't get the grin off their face. I mean, they absolutely went in.
They could not win a game for the rest of the year, and I think they're content with the season.
I think Blue Eyes is a Richmond man. Michael.
He is?
Felgate, yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
He would have been happy today.
Yep.
I think Trent's Carlton, isn't he?
Carlton, yeah.
He
would
is.
have been
He did look a
very
bit sour on his
frosty.
way
So
out.
is Stickers Velosaurus.
He is.
Oh, no wonder
He is.
why he's not here today.
He is.
Anyway, on their way to the boxes here at Hillsville for the 7th. Favourite there is number 2, Lissy Lulu at $2.25, and he is the on-top selection for Victoria Shaw. Let's get the Vic for race 7.
Hope you're finding a few winners here on the card today. Beautiful day here at Hillsville, and punters pinning their hopes here on Lizzie Lulu. In the next event that we're about to embark on, thanks to Mr. Hummel Lizzie Lulu now was $2.15 a moment ago, so eased just a touch now to $2.20. So we've got a bit more room here with the scratching of number 5. We're just awaiting our Amberlight to come on. And a big good afternoon, everyone, on RSN as well, as the boys from Grey Areas join us. Jason and George giving us all the Greyhound Racing Victoria lowdown for the week, and looking forward to the Shepparton Cup heats as well. We're getting set here at Hillsville. Lizzie Lulu running from box 2 is the favourite. Now $2.20, $2.50 for Nadia's Charm off the inside. Green light is switched on. We're set for a start. All in and ready to go. And they're often chasing Lizzie Lulu away to a fair start. Good speed the centre from Destiny. Lorenzo now starts to make his move across to the inside. Go Gizmo, go there as well. Up the centre is Bull Indeed. Jolene Counter is the widest runner, and putting the foot down now is Nadia's Charm. Nadia's Charm, Destiny Lorenzo over on the outside. Lizzie Lulu trying to wind up back up on the rail, but it's Nadia's Charm first across the line. In second, Destiny Lorenzo. Third, Lizzie Lulu back on the inside. Then next was Hard Rotor, Go Gizmo, go Jolly Encounter, and one of the last in with Bull Indeed, and the run 19 and 68. Nadia's Charm storming to victory, pulling off the rail and making her way up the centre of the track over the line by about a full length and a half. 1 from 4 in third place, number 2. Lizzie Lulu was fair to step, but left her run a little late, and in fourth place, number 3. 1, 4, 2 and 3, our interim numbers here at Hillsville on race number 7 in 19 and 68.
So 1, 4, 2 and 3. Victoria, thank you. Victoria Shaw out there today, as Jason has said. After 3 legs of the quaddie, you need 5, 6 and 1. Number 1, Nadia's Charm, has paid $3 and $1.80. For Destiny Lorenzo, $3.20. No third div. Number 2, Lizzie Lulu, and 3, Hard Rotor. The Quinella paid $10. Exacta 16. Trifecta 32. First 4, $150. Running double 6 and 1, $50. And gentlemen, if you'll just humour me, if you're alive in the quaddie this afternoon, the shortest way home on 5, 6 and 1. The shortest way home, Jason, will be $519 with the pink winger number 8 Rapid Fire Morris.
Thank you, Johnny. Before we move on to the nuts and bolts of the racing happening across this weekend, Georgie, you sent me something last night about your setup at home while you're watching the footy. Now, I want to find out how you've done this technically, because you can describe it in depth to the listeners, but it was basically half your house has Fox Footy on it. What on earth have you done to set this up? You've got one of the great man caves in Australia, and you've still decided to watch the footy from outside of it.
Yeah, got like a shade cloth thing near the decking, and my son Nate said, we should turn that into a projector. So
smart boy.
I've got this sort of Samsung projector, and then just through my phone got KO, and then link it to the projector, and it beams on the shade cloth outside our house.
I've got to see this.
It's
I've never been over. Jason, never been invited.
It's almost like he
never
needs
been invited.
Wow. Because he works on a Saturday. That's when the man cave
that's
open
true.
for business, mate. Or else you'd be.
You weren't working last night, were you, Johnny?
No, but that was Friday. Saturdays I work all day.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying George could have invited you last night.
Thursday.
I do like just meeting him at the pub for a beer. That's probably our main thing. But
anyway,
so
it's getting to areas that you need a Foxtel subscription, like a pub.
So you just need,
not a residential house.
You think I should charge people coming through?
Door charge.
Foxtel should be charging you. You've got the footy on show to half of Essendon.
Yeah, I know. The neighbours, I don't think, are too happy, mate.
Unbelievable. Anyway, great game of footy it was. Did you see much of what happened at Sandown Park last night?
I did, yeah. Was watching intently. Unfortunately, our first tip didn't win, but our second got the job done. And it was never really in doubt, was it?
Which one's it?
Old Takumi Bale.
Takumi, yeah. Funny you mentioned that, because Johnny, play the finishing stages to race 11 last night at Sandown.
Which is Takumi Bale, leads out by 4, Zipping Spartan trying to run on, then came Galloping Red, but it's all Takumi Bale. By George, Takumi Bale by 7 lengths.
By George.
Good.
He's a good man, D. Hibbard.
Yeah, good tips
Loyal
for himself,
listener.
mate. Don't worry about that. But no, that was a good little result. Now, you had a tip that was very, very, very stiff, right?
Mate.
Should we go through the...
Mate.
Are we talking shimmer time?
Well, I was on Sky yesterday morning, and every week have to come up with the best at Sandown, and it was shimmer time. And when I looked at the results this morning and saw he ran 3rd or 4th, I'm like, he's made a bit of a meal of this. And then I watched the replay. He's leading, almost leading through the turn. I'm thinking, how does he get beat from here? And he's probably the likely winner 4 or 5 times throughout the race, but not to be. Tough watch.
He got turned sideways. And
back too.
He was facing the train tracks. He got turned that sideways. Unbelievable. Take nothing away from Got a Pulse, who's a handy little dog. But Shimmer Time, you were very, very stiff there, mate. But yeah, we've got a nice little obscure bet that I think people are just going to hopefully chips in, load up, mate, to tomorrow night.
Very much looking forward to that. Lakeview Emily was the headline act on last night's program. Just didn't get away well enough, did she? She recovered okay, but it's just so hard to do in free-for-alls at City Clark.
Yeah, and again, Aston Gozo is a greyhound in form. Where's Poppy was great behind her last week, so I thought her run was pretty good, Lakeview Emily, but she does throw in those type of runs, doesn't she? I mean, she went 5:20 early, sort of just came out sort of stumbly a little bit, where sometimes she can just ping out and, look, her run was pretty good. Again, nothing away from Aston Gozo, who still ran 29.35. He's racing very well for Rob Pallotta.
Earlier on in the night, I think it might have been race 2, it was a very short price favourite in University. Now, he's a greyhound that you've mentioned a few times over the past couple of weeks. He is in all likelihood bound for the launching pad. What did you make of his performance last night? Because he was beaten, found plenty of trouble, but still a pretty good run. I think most people would agree.
Yeah, look, I think she's going to learn heaps from her. I didn't think it was bad at all. She sort of veered off a little bit on that corner, didn't she? There was a bit of a bumping duel. And
it was hard to tell whether that was interference forced or whether she wanted to get out to that part of the track.
It just smacked of a greyhound lacking in experience. So she'll be fine. Hopefully people didn't take the short odds. We wanted to highlight her because this litter has got very, very big raps on it. Obviously, Logistical is in the litter, who unfortunately has hurt himself, but hopefully we get to see him back pretty soon. But she'll be fine. She will be fine.
Paul Garner was another winner, and you might think, why am I mentioning his name? It was his first win since August, and he's had 15 starts since then. If that doesn't paint enough of a picture about this greyhound, the start of his career, he won 3 of his first 5 and was wildly impressive. I haven't put together the data yet for last night's meeting. I will do that before close of business today, and you do want to find that. Head to grv.org.au/race data. But I assume he got home like a runaway train. And believe it or not, he's still eligible for the launching pad.
Well, the scary part is, like you said, his first 3 wins at the Meadows, 29.83, 29.71, 29.84, and then didn't win another race since. And we mentioned him on the show where that form gone. There was writing on the wall, though, Jace, wasn't there? There was a second at Sandown 4 starts ago where he ran 29.46 behind Reality Best, sort of coming back to somewhere near his best, and the punters didn't miss him. He was into $2.40 yesterday, and it was a good victory. So we spoke about that wave of poor greyhounds coming through, and by the way, there's another little wave of poor greyhounds coming through that look very impressive. But he was sort of the headline act out of all of them. When you run 29.71 as, after having 4 race starts, was incredible. So credit to Team Delbridge. Hopefully we get to see the best of him pushing forward.
Speaking of the poor greyhounds, poor Yasmin broke 34 seconds over the 5.95 last night. She's an absolute punter's nightmare, but she can run. That's for sure.
Do you remember we tipped her about a month ago? And I think you looked at me funny saying,
yeah,
really? Do you want to? And you're right, because her form was... She's gone on this mini streak, hasn't she, where her form is just terrific. She is a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde greyhound. There's no doubt about that.
Her best is great. Her worst isn't so great, but she was awesome last night at Sandown.
Yeah.
Moving on to some other racing over the next few days. We'll get some of the features soon, and particularly heats of the Shepparton Cup, which were released probably about half an hour ago. But in terms of the Meadows this Saturday night, so the headline acts, race 7, I saw Reapers in there. The reason why I'm mentioning Reaper, of course, he's part owned by Craig McRae, the Collingwood coach. So would he be the first coach in history, if he was, to be caught watching Sky Racing in the coach's box during a game?
Well, there's enough monitors down at the bench, and that's where Fly coaches from, right, on the bench. So interesting. The race is on at 9:20. The game starts at 7:40. So probably half time? It
could work out perfectly.
It might be in the third quarter. So if there are enough in front, you might say, hey, Reaper's going around, mate.
The green light's on, mate. Tune in.
Absolutely.
30 seconds till the sirens.
Imagine that. Someone's having a kick for goal and he's watching Sky Channel.
Or a 5-minute warning until race 7 at the Meadows.
That would be perfect.
Here's a headline act in that race. Hector Fawley is back.
He's back.
Race 8 at the Meadows is Saturday night. And, of course, the illustration behind him is that he was retired in the latter part of December. I haven't spoken to Cockerells directly about why he has come back, but I assume it's just due to a fluctuation in stud demands, and he's a greyhound who just wants to race. And he didn't sort of retire in a manner of which you thought it's right. It's the right time. Like, he was still going really well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to see him back is encouraging, but we'll see what he serves up on Saturday night.
When we had Lisa on the show, I remember her saying, essentially, they didn't want to mix racing with pleasure for the dog. They wanted him to have his mind on the job. He retired. But from all reports with Hector Fawley, and I only see him on the racetrack as you do, Jace, he's just one of those dogs who means business and wants to race. So he might be driving them mad at home. He might be going up there straight, just looking $1 million ready to go. So they might think, and there's a little, is it Sandgroper related too? Because I know it might be a big ask because we haven't seen him race for a while, but Ladbrokes have shown their loyalty when they chose Schillaci back-to-back for Phoenix. Will they be doing the same thing here with Hector Fawley? Not too sure. I suppose Saturday night's performance will go a long way. Now, it's not a Phoenix, it's not a Top Gun, but I tell you what, it's not an easy race, Jason. There's a lot of speed in the race. Where he sits on that first corner, we all know Hector Fawley can be a little bit hit or miss early, but I'm so looking forward to watching him race. I think it's fantastic that he's back. And I did check, he's served, I think, about 4 or 5 females, a couple of them from the Wheeler family, which is a really good start to a career. So he and Explicit, the 2 sons of Bernardo, obviously going okay at stud.
That indeed. And going back to your memory in this sport, George, can you remember many greyhounds who have retired and come back to racing? I mean, when I think of comebacks, I can't just get my mind past Tony Lockett, and that was probably a regretful decision for the great plugger. But is there any greyhounds that come to mind that have retired and come back?
Yeah, look, I think it happens more often than not, and sometimes it happens. I think Jay sort of did it as well, didn't he? He went to start and then sort of come back. I think they dip their toe in the water and test the market, and I think Hector Fawley will still get a lot of females, where I think Jay was one where there wasn't a lot, I think, coming his way. I'm guessing. So, like I said, then I think they drive the trainers mad at home, and they say, well, if you want to keep barking and carrying on, maybe we'll put you back in. I'm not saying Hector's a barker, but I'm just saying they'd be fit enough where you just say he's trialled well. Let's have another throw at the stumps. And as I said, maybe they've had a call about the Sandgroper. I don't know. I don't know. Is there something behind this? I don't think they're just coming back for a free for all. There might be something that we might hear about in the next couple of weeks. Not sure. We'll
wait and see. We spoke about the Shepparton Cup heats. They are hot off the press. Let's get into them, Georgie. So race 5 at Shep on Monday night is the first of them. We see the likes of Mile a Minute, Amron Tiger, who was very competitive in the Horsham Cup.
Yeah, look, my eyes went straight. Obviously, these fields have just come out. My eyes went straight to Mile a Minute because I think his run behind Serial Sticker was very, very good. And by looking at that race, I mean, Boracay Storm, we spoke about him. Some of his splits at Sandown are phenomenal.
His turn of foot's crazy.
He can be a bit hit or miss at box rise is the concern, but they're the 2 likely types, I'd say, Boracay Storm and Mile a Minute.
Heat 2 of 5, and this is where a lot of attention will surround Tim Zoo. Haven't had a message from Tim from Kilsyth yet, but Tim Zoo's drawn the red in Heat 2. Meets Serial Sticker, who we know is of Emerald fame, having won that so well last week.
What a race. And drawn on opposite ends. Tim Zoo off the red where, let's be honest, I mean, he's almost one of those unbeatable greyhounds when he draws on the rails. He's such a talented dog, and he's got a really good PB at the track. And he takes on Serial Sticker, whose speed is just almost unparalleled, especially what we've seen at Healesville. Cracking race. And don't forget my man, Orly Bale, as well, on drawn box 2, but it looks like he might be up against it. Terrific heat, that.
Motion Sensor as well in box 5 as a good winner of the Horsham Cup Constellation. Heat 3. Now, we spoke about Lakeview Emily and her performance last night. She goes straight back into it at Shep. Heat 3 there.
Yeah, great little race as well. Obviously, Zipping Grillis is a greyhound that we know and love because of his racing pattern, Jason. But look, you'd think Lakeview Emily would be off and gone. Very good training performance by Harley Whelan, I have to say. After that tumble at the Meadows, gave her a look at Shepparton with this in the back of his mind, and then went back to town, and now she's seen the track and drawn well, and clearly will be hard to beat here.
Heat 4, we see Sheasel drawn box 1, and for those out there who are predominantly followers of City Class Racing, Sheasel's a greyhound who's a rocket on the short course, and he desperately wants to get to the outside part of the track. So box 1's going to be quite hairy for him, and the greyhound's drawn on his outside. But we go to those drawn on the other side of the track, George. Flying Zulu, Horsham Cup winner, it's drawn box 8. Nadal Sheba as well, who's a very handy sprinter from New South Wales.
Yeah, Peter Lagagioni making the trek down the highway. And what about the speed next to Sheasel? So you make a really good point here. Leo Bale's got speed. Description has speed. It could get a bit messy into that first corner. So if you're ever going to draw box 8, Flying Zulu, probably this is the time. You might keep away from it and just get that first 5 or 10 yards where you're clear. That's another cracker.
And the fifth and final heats, and the discussion out of this will be that In the Hub is back racing at group level. He returned in his last start at Sale on the 2nd of March, going back a couple of weeks, and before that we last saw him back in November at the Meadow. So good to see him back, and he's clearly drawn well in box 7.
He's drawn where he wants to be, doesn't he? He just loves it out there. Good return. We hadn't seen him for a while. He was just a terrific greyhound, and he showed enough at Sale for his first run back to suggest that he'll be in this up to his ears.
Yep, indeed. So there's a look at the Shepparton Cup heats on Monday night. I'm doing something new on Monday night, George.
What are you doing?
So I'll be on Sky. I won't be at the track. I'll be doing it from elsewhere, but I'll have a TV behind me. And what I want to do is, we know there's a lot of people in pubs and clubs across the country that would be visual watchers of Sky, but not necessarily listen. So for blokes like you and I who get on and think we know what we're talking about, and a lot of people out there are unable to listen. So I'm going to have a TV screen there, and it's going to have some very direct information about 2 or 3 runners. This dog will go forward. This dog will want to get wide on the track. This dog will be a slow beginner and run on.
Beautiful.
So just a visual explanation of what to expect, and hopefully for those people out there that have a casual interest in greyhound racing and have a bet if they're at the pub on a Monday night, can see that and start to pick up a few things and take a bit more notice.
So like a powered up speed map coming out of the horse's mouth.
Yeah,
Very
it's
good.
basically a race preview in 10 words.
Fantastic.
So we'll see how that goes. But that's Monday night at Shepparton. Okay, we touched on the Perth Cup and Galaxy on Wednesday's edition of the show. They are Saturday night at Cannington. If you had more thoughts around that, Georgie, a lot of Victorian representation, particularly in the Perth Cup. And, of course, their thorn amongst them is Miss Envy. And I say thorn in the lightest possible way because she is a star, but obviously the best of the local hopes.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think we discussed it on Wednesday, and I'm sticking to it. I think the value in the race is Boracay Summer off box 5 because of its splits, Jace. Shopping at around the $8.50, now into around $8. The speed battle is so intriguing between Deadly Avenger and Mapungatully early, and then Boracay Summer and Rare Speed, a greyhound you mentioned, who's now into 31s from 34. So where Miss Envy and Vincent Bale sit is my concern. We all know that she seemingly finds a way to get through, but my money will be each way on Boracay Summer, and I think if Mapungatully leads, I think she'll improve from last week's run and then be hard to beat again. She's just racing so well at the moment, isn't she? She's just in a rich vein of form.
Yeah, I'll be tipping Miss Envy, but I mean that is total reliance on Mapungatully not being as faultless as what she's been, because Miss Envy's got Rare Speed on her inside. She'll get down towards the fence, and Miss Envy should get clear air, and it's something that she doesn't often always have, and still produces good racetrack performances. And in the Galaxy for the Stayers, the greyhound I'm tipping on top, George, Groove Bird.
Oh, really?
I am.
Well, I hope you're
What are
right,
your
mate.
thoughts? You're
look,
the owner, and
her run last week was very, very good. But I've also seen her in that final in the Fanabale Superstars where she was challenged early and finished down the track. So that's my concern.
That was pressure related in your opinion?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it's so easy when it's your own dog to admit that. Like, I mean, she's a fantastic greyhound for us. So if someone told me she was going to make 7 Group 1 finals, I would have thought, well, maybe 1 because she always had ability, but 7. We're really proud of her. But if the pressure is on early, I think it opens the race off for a dog like Black Silencer and clearly Ethanol Water if she brings her best, because her form's been a touch muddling. So I've got a feeling about Black Silencer tomorrow night. Here's my tip.
Even though your own greyhound ran him down last week.
Yeah, because I think pound for pound he's a better greyhound.
Yeah.
I hope we prove him wrong, and I hope you're right, mate.
Yeah.
Now about tomorrow, the most important sporting event tomorrow is that you are going to be on the MCG. Can you tell us a little bit more about this? Oh, tonight, sorry. Tonight, sorry.
So I'm going to be either a goal umpire or holding a sign.
You're the assistant coach, I'm hearing.
Yep, so I'm taking the shoes of David Roden.
Is there going to be a leadership skill?
This is all for Auskick.
How many rounds in before you actually senior coach? I think, yeah.
Might be coaching Carlton if I want to in the next couple of weeks.
I think the knives are in the back of the coach already.
All right, on the way to the boxes for the 8th at Hillsville. Johnny, there's this massive blowfly that's been blowing around this studio for the last 25 minutes.
You
seen it, Georgie?
Yeah, it's just going crazy.
Workplace health and safety.
Look at this thing.
Oh, yeah, I can see.
Moving as quick as group.
He likes the bright lights. You guys with your TV feed.
All right, race 8, Hillsville. Here's Vic.
60, Get a Grip. 460 also for Cruella and 480 off the inside for Firing Chief. So at the start here at Hillsville, and the amber light is switched on. We're moving in, getting set. So as the light blinks away, we're starting to call him in. Now, Rapid Fire Morris running from the outside here today. PB here at the track of 19 and 46. And as the amber light blinks away, now $2.30 continues to shorten. Has one here from box 7 on the 14th of February in 19 and 54. Running from box 8 here today. Let's see how he goes. Amber light about to switch to green. 350 ahead of them for the 8th event. We're all in, ready to run. And they're off and chasing, and Rapid Fire Morris away to a good start, good speed. The centre, Get a Grip, who is nicely away. Have a look at Fitzroy Halley's stamp on the pace. Cruella with good early speed, Firing Chief, Black Prestige there as well. To the centre runs Get a Grip now starting to charge on forward, leaving behind Destiny Rebel and Benora Point. Rapid Fire Morris to the outside. Now looms to the centre. Firing Chief gets up on the inside and wins. Firing Chief home. In second was Rapid Fire Morris. Now, good go third. We've got Cruella in advance of Get a Grip. Fitzroy Halley was next. Lining up behind them was next there to Destiny Rebel from Benora Point out wide. Black Prestige, one of the last in, and the run. First time of the day so far, 19 and 37. Number 1, Firing Chief. From number 8, Rapid Fire Morris. In third place is Cruella. And we wait fourth place officially. 1, 8 and 3, 19 and 37. 1, 8, 3 and 5. Get a Grip.
1, 8, 3 and 5. That's Victoria's trifecta and first 4 there, boys. Number 1, Firing Chief at $6.30 and $2.20. 8, Rapid Fire Morris, $1.10. 3, Cruella, $1.40 and 5, Get a Grip. The Quinella, $6. Exacta paid $20. Trifecta, $60. Vic's first 4, $146, 1835. Daily Double, 6 and 1, paid $38. And the Quaddie, $759. She's tipped that as well for you. 5, 6, double 1. And the running double, a pair of ones, has paid $19.
Let's get to some text messages that have rolled in throughout the show. The first of them says, Jason, Gerwin Price. So he won the Premier League this morning in the darts. Georgie knocked off Luke Littler, and he's got the absolute moz on him.
What's going on with Littler?
Well, he was unbelievable during the week in another tournament, and he went there this morning. He was outstanding in his semi-final. Gerwin Price has got the mocker on him. And it's lasted a while. It's quite concerning. All right, next in. Did Flashing Floods have a litter and then return the racing?
Yes, she did. The great Flashing Floods. She won 33 races. I've just checked her form up here, but she certainly did come back to racing, talking about comebacks. And we had one recently in the Prosciutto camp who...
Idolise,
who had a litter to Shimmer Shine and then came back to racing.
Not awfully rare to have a litter and come back, is it? It's more so if a male retires and comes back is a bigger story.
Okay, hey boys, I know you have a busy show, but can you give me your opinions on 2 greyhounds tomorrow at Cannington? Race 2, Chloe Ant, and race 12, Timmy Tesla. Yes, we can. Chloe Ant's got a really, really good PB. I had a look at this Galaxy Constellation race. The issue is, I think Paul Stewart's got a very handy greyhound called Urbanity here off box 8, and it looks the big danger. Irish Millie, of course, is also in that race, so probably tread softly there, but certainly drawn okay. The other one, Timmy Tesla, trained by a young trainer who's doing good things in WA called Lewis Clay. It's got a nice PB, but again, the greyhound drawn off box 1, Common Man, for Adam Smithson, is just racing at such a level at the moment. I think he'll be incredibly hard to beat. So hopefully Tim, of course, Tim from Kilsyth, hopefully, it must be anything with Tim in the name, right? Obviously, with his name, Timmy Tesla, Tim Zoo. We need to name a greyhound.
Tim Tams.
Tim Tams. So hopefully you get the chocolates there. But obviously, all your money, Tim, will be on Tim Zoo.
And the most recent of these messages, I mean, I'm not sure whether I should read this out on air just in case we get some unwanted attention in a residence in Essendon. Hi guys, just wondering if George has got a liquor licence and gambling licence for his man cave. Sounds like a busy establishment. Hope it's all legal.
The paperwork's on the way.
Yeah, it's in the mail. Yeah.
Just waiting for approval.
Just some governance, and then we'll be fine.
So there's alcohol consumption. You're going to charge people to get in and watch the footy. This is alarm bells.
It is alarm bells. So we might have to make it free of charge.
It's a great establishment. All right, Meadows tomorrow night, Georgie. Tips? Hit us. What have you got for us?
I'm going against Fly's Dog with one of my own, Van Wyck, drawn next to Reaper. I think we can lead it early, and I think we'll be hard to beat. The danger in the race is clearly Shimmer Stand because it's a very talented greyhound, but I think Van Wyck, he's racing well, much better greyhound drawn closer to the fence, so race 7, number 2. Also, a little bit later on, race 9, number 1, Doongala Don, young greyhound for Corey Grenfell. Forget its run last start. Its wins before that showed really, really good speed at Sandown. Again, because of the draw, I think we'll lead and be hard to beat. So race 7, number 2, race 9, number 1. But now we have our obscure bet. This is chips in, Jace.
Chips in. Obscure outlay, and you've gone chips in. This concerns me.
Collingwood at the line. I think they're minus 8.5.
Go the Pies.
They will win tomorrow.
After they looked legless last Sunday.
They have absolutely copped it in the media, and I understand GWS are a good side, but Collingwood were in control of that game early and just couldn't score. They just kept getting behinds instead of goals. That would have been a much closer game. I've heard about how they're dad's army and they can't run and they cramp. But you watch tomorrow night. I'm going with a mate of mine who's a Port Adelaide fan, and I can tell he's visibly worried.
Jeez, one of few.
He is
in
worried.
Melbourne.
Every time a team gets kicked in the guts, it's one round, guys. You watch. Collingwood will come out tomorrow. They are my absolute lock tomorrow at the line at minus 8.5.
John Henry is the number 1 ticket holder at Victoria Park.
Are you with me, John?
I'd like to be.
You think they'll win?
Well, I'm a Pies supporter. Yeah, I'm hoping that they can get across the line. That's the way I feel every match they play. But
I think you'll win. There you go, Jace.
All right, a couple of more messages have come in. Matt from Dandenong hasn't held back about Black Silence. He's a money muncher. Go the Groove Bird. Also a nice text from Mason Kaufman, who, of course, represents the Grenfell team. He's on his way to Dubbo with 3 of their greyhounds, and I think the best of them, maybe Mason might agree, might not, Paul Vortex, who goes around against Jungle Johnny, who's an absolute force to be reckoned with up there in New South Wales.
I'm glad you mentioned Jungle Johnny. What about his win at Wentworth Park? My goodness, the son of Jungle Juice. Watch out for him. Drawn poorly, though, so there's a challenge.
He is, and he's had an advantage of small fields in his most recent start. So I think Paul Vortex can get up and win. Mason, thank you for getting involved in the show.
Enjoy the MCG, mate.
I will, mate. I'll be out there.
No yelling at the kids. We don't want any crying. There's no crying, okay?
Well, if they make mistakes, sometimes I need some advice.
Yes, that's what I want to hear.
Constructive criticism, as they say.
My mate got sacked from being the senior coach for the youngsters because he made half of the team cry. Hilarious. Shout out to Ryan. So just be kinder.
Unbelievable. All right, that's a wrap for Grey Areas on this Friday. John Henry, I'll throw to you. The Friday Feast coming up with Andrew Bensley.
Yeah, with Andrew Bensley is coming up after a break. Thanks, guys. See you next Wednesday.
Hope your footy team wins.
We told you, the Battlers delivered another Group 1, finding the Blue Diamond winner at $15.
Devil Knight from Tetris Tycoon Star.
They also found the Silver Slipper winner at $17.
They whack too good.
And remember back in January, they found the Magic Millions double at over 200 to 1. The question is, why do you keep missing out? Aren't you sick of backing $2 favourites that get rolled? Aussie punting battlers have continued to deliver, and over 80% of those who trialled the Battlers recently have extended long term. Big races, big record, big odds. It's time. Join the Battler Army at AussiePuntingBattler.com.
Think, is this a bet you really want to place? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
To hear all of today's Australian racing, listen to RSN Extra. That's on digital radio in Melbourne, on the RSN app, and streaming at rsn.net.au.